pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, so no Phillies updates, just as a courtesy to our reporter here. Appeal number 3165, the applicant Cynthia and Miles Kellum, property located at 434 Upper Gulf Road and zoned R1 residential. The applicant seeks relief from sections 280-15D 1, 2, 280-15E, and 280-15F of the code to construct an addition to their home. Applicant further seeks such other relief consistent with the exhibits and testimony presented at the hearing. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. And then you can raise your right hand. You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and whole truth and nothing but the truth. Yes. And state your full name, please. Cynthia Collins.
Good evening.
Go, that
here.
right there.
Yes,
All right.
thank you.
So everyone on TV can see you.
Okay. So Cynthia Kellum, I'm at 434 Upper Gulf Road. Our house is over 150 years old. It was built before setbacks were established in Radnor. The majority of the house and the entirety of the garage sit outside the envelope. The garage itself is really old. It's small. It will only fit a compact car in length, and we're looking to expand it. Because it sits outside the envelope, we are largely expanding it back towards the back side of the kind of triangular shaped property that we have, which faces a large expanse of just wooded area. There's no houses or property there. So that's the summary.
Okay, so do you have some exhibits and things for us to
We
walk
do,
through?
yes. So
And actually, if you want to place that on that table, we'll get an overhead going. Oh. I might have changed my opinion on the TV screens.
We can actually see them now. This is excellent. Yeah, the other screen.
all right, so you can see the triangular shaped property here. This is our current home, and you can see the envelope here with this triangle.
Explain what that triangle is. Is that
That's the envelope in which I think based on the setbacks that are established and requirements now in Radnor Township, that's typically where if there were, if a new house were being built, it would need to be built inside.
understood? Okay.
So this is our house and home here, and the garage is this portion right here on this side. So you can see it's entirely outside of that envelope, and the kind of shaded area around it is where we're looking to expand the garage, both in width to turn it from what's now like a 1.5 car garage to a 2 car garage, and in depth so that it can have a normal size modern car. And what you're seeing back here is just a representation of kind of this wooded area. Again, there's a road down over here that you can't see, but there's just all woods here.
And what is the topography on the property? Does your property slope toward the road or toward a neighbor one way or the other, or towards the back? How's that work?
So the road is here, and the topography slopes down this way towards Arden Road, which runs along down here.
Thank you.
Yep.
And I see on the plan, it looks like there is some 20% slope, but you're not, are you proposing to build within that slope?
No, just
If you want to testify, you can come up, be sworn in, state your name for the record. Thank you.
Hi. So the sloped area with the 20% grade is just behind where we're going to be building. It actually is pretty flat right there. Yeah, exactly. So it's like this area here is where we have quite the grade.
Okay.
If you wanted to show you the corner there.
So that small sliver of the diagram, which appears to encroach into the crosshatched area with the 20% slope, that is or is not intended for construction?
The construction is just this black, just showing where this black edged line is here.
Okay. All right. It just appears on what I'm looking at, which I believe was included with the application, that the dark black line that you're referring to does encroach into the 20% steep slope.
Oh, I suppose it does ever so slightly.
And does your application include a request for a variance from construction in the steep slope area?
No, I was not informed that that was necessary.
Well, they didn't give notice either, so
What's that?
it's not in the notice anyway.
Right. Just wanted it on the record.
Yep. Okay, so let's mark some exhibits so that we can keep the record clean. So the large plan that you opened up, well, let me back up. Let's make the application number 1. You had a letter in here for the change of address. We can make that number 2. I think I saw your deed in the packet as well. We can make the deed number 3. Okay, and then, sorry, yeah, and then the large plan that you put out on the table, why don't we make that number 4? And then the zoomed-in one that you placed on top, I guess we'll make that 5.
Sorry, what did you know was number 1?
1 was the application
The
itself.
application itself, okay.
Yeah. Okay,
Change of address was A2.
yeah. Go ahead, yeah, thank you.
So I get your record. The relief you're looking for is section 280-15D1, which is side yard setbacks, 60 feet aggregate, 25 each in width. Understand, see where you're doing that there. I think 2, it's not applicable to you guys, because that's for every building other than a dwelling, so I don't think you're looking for a variance there. Your rear yard seems to be fine, which is 15E, which you're asking for a variance, but it doesn't seem like you need a variance, by your shaking.
Well, it's a triangular lot, so we weren't quite sure whether that is considered
You have
rear or
one
side.
rear yard, and that's at one of the backs, at 40, so you're fine. You're not
Okay.
touching that in back. And then you got, which is the bigger concern, is you were asking for relief in impervious coverage, which it doesn't seem like you're doing that either. Because impervious limitation is 22%, and according to your drawings, you're going to 20.13, so you're still under that.
Right.
So again, I just want to make sure, that's what
Yes.
you're asking for, but it doesn't seem like you need any of that
Okay.
stuff, other than the side yards and perhaps the steep slopes. There is a provision in our code that says you're not allowed to mess with steep slopes, unless they were man-made. So, now the good part is you have a great line in here. It says applicant further seeks such other relief consistent with the exhibits and testimony presented. So you may be okay if you want to go to the steep slope, but can you tell us, to me, I'm kind of going, I understand what you're trying to do here. There's nowhere else you could put this garage on your property, and certainly you have a dimensional issue here. This is all it is. It's a triangular lot. It makes a lot of sense. There's so little that you can do on this property that would be within the setbacks. But talk to me about the slopes. The slopes that are there today, would you say they were made when the house were made? Is that the logical interpretation? Do you think it was made there from sediment? Do you think it was there forever? Like, tell us about what it looks like.
Wait, in that.
Or do you have a picture? Do you even have a picture of the slopes in the back?
I think we have, oh yeah, there we go.
We do have a picture.
Yeah.
If you could throw it up on the screen.
Is this 6?
Oh, there's trees on it?
No, it would not be going that far.
It's basically, I don't know if you can say, but it would basically be, this is it.
You see where the driveway actually comes out around to where behind that, the broken gate happens to be in the photograph. So it basically would be running from there parallel with the house, where if you can see it, there happens to be wood storage that we have right over there. And it would run up to, if you see where that window is on the, like the lower level window,
Yeah.
right around behind there where the plants happen to be.
And do you know for sure that it's a 20% slope? Did someone measure that? Or, because it's interesting that they used 20 exactly. Usually it's greater than 20 or something like that, or less. So what we
It's-
like to see is below 15, 15 to 25, 20, and above 20.
I'm not sure the methodology that was used for the survey, so I can't really attest to that. I can tell you that it's pretty flat when you're walking along there. I mean, that's our normal place where we walk, to get around the side of the house to the backyard. It does start to slope down, but we weren't planning on building on that part.
Does that line of the plan that we're talking about, does that line up with the existing driveway, or does it expand it a bit?
No, we're not going to expand the driveway.
Let me ask it a better way then. In other words, will the back end,
It will not get
rear
any-
side of your driveway, will the house
the
be
house-
wider than that?
No, the,
You can see it in this drawing.
yeah, the driveway is closer, the existing driveway, we're not doing anything to the driveway, is closer to the property line than the proposed addition would be.
Okay, so the proposed addition bumps out ever so slightly, and that seems to be what's causing this conversation.
Yeah.
Was there any consideration given to not bumping out and just drawing that line straight across?
We had looked at a number of different options, and one of them was actually, instead of moving out in the back, moving in the front. However, there's a window there, and we don't want to, there's such limited light, it's an old house, that we didn't want to end up blocking the window. So it just unfortunately gives us a limited opportunity in order to be able to fit 2 cars in.
In terms of, why are you here today? Did you submit a permit and the township said you need a couple variances, or did you come here knowing that you have to get variances?
Well, we had put an addition on the house in the past, and at that time, when we had asked about it, they're like, oh, yeah, you'll probably need one if you end up doing anything to
Okay.
the garage.
Okay, so in other words, these plans haven't been reviewed by the township yet to be able to say, by the way, you might need a steep slope variance as well?
No.
Okay. Okay.
The steep slopes are tricky.
Yeah.
That's why we're
What's
hesitating.
the, just out of curiosity, what's the concern over this?
You can't disturb
You can't disturb. The
Can't
code
touch 'em.
prohibits you from
Just like you need a
building.
variance for the side yard issue, you need a variance, assuming that was an issue.
The concern, the concern is more preservation of soil erosion, rainwater runoff, preventing slides, things like that. So that's why, even where, there are disturbances of steep slopes permitted, the engineering gets looked at, depending on the extent of disturbance, the engineering gets looked at fairly closely.
Okay. I mean, I understand, stormwater runoff, rainwater runoff is a considerable concern, and for our particular property where it's located, it's, we don't have another house there. We've got, at least 150, 175 yards of woods that run on behind there down to Arden Road.
And that goes straight down to Arden?
Yeah, do you want to?
Okay. Okay.
I think the concern would be that
Okay, thank you. Right, and then Francisville or whatever is on the corner there. Okay, yep, gotcha.
For me, the concern would be that, you know, if we were to grant you relief, you then bring these plans to the township, they see that line encroaches on that 20% slope, and you're gonna come back in front of us again.
And again, whoever did this plot diagram maybe wasn't even concerned. Maybe it isn't 20% there and a 20% bottom. So you got kind of two choices. You can see if you can get a variance tonight for it based on the plans, or you can kind of hope that your plot guy didn't do an exact measurement and the 20% slope comes when you're not doing the addition. Because again, if it is encroaching, the township will say, no, you gotta go get a variance. So you got two choices, you either come back and get a variance, or you redo your plans just to move it up a little bit more.
Right.
And I think that's where my question goes to, that slight little.
Yeah, it doesn't look
where
bad,
it bumps
but-
out, there's no measurement there, but I'm
So-
just wondering what that affords you in terms of, obviously a couple
Yeah.
inches of width, but.
Well,
And reality is, those kind of slopes are never all 20%. You know,
Right,
It's
right.
great, here's 12 and here's 10, blah, blah, blah.
well, what if we were to, you know, and understood if we kept these plans and we ended up getting your approval and then having to go to, you know, pull permits and they said, okay, hold on here. At that point, we would still have two options. One would be revise the plans, and one would be going back and saying to our surveyor, hey, can you take a closer look at this here? Which seems like it's fine in my mind to, you know, it kind of cross that bridge when we come to it.
Well, put it this way, if you hadn't put 20% slopes on there,
Yeah,
we wouldn't know.
right. Well, I think probably the most expedient thing for us to do is to be able to go back to him and say, hey, we need you to take a closer look at this before we end up submitting the building plans.
And are you saying 20% is when it starts being defined as steep?
Yeah, greater than 14, right? Between 14 and 20 have to be noted, and then I think X over 20 is
Over
steep.
20,
Yeah,
not 20 plus, but over 20.
oh, 20 plus.
Yeah, maybe he rounded up, I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah, I think we're sort of driving in that direction.
Right.
Because here's the other side of the coin as I see it. If we were to, when we grant these types of things, it will be based on the plans submitted. If you
Yes.
go change those plans because of the slope issue, you've wasted the time tonight, so.
Right.
Yeah, but if we can continue tonight and you come back with a revised plan, that's what will base the determination.
Yet at the same time, if we ended up asking for a continuance and then didn't end up needing one, what happens at that point?
Oh, we would just, yeah, it would just be on the agenda for
next
November, and we would vote on it.
Well, I do have a question. So if we grant a variance for the, I'm gonna say 5.93
Everything
for
noticed.
sideline.
Everything noticed. Now.
Yeah, but they end up building it shorter. So they actually do less than what they requested. That's still part of the variance, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Right, that
so in
right.
other words, you're getting a variance, the farthest you can get to your sideline is 5.93 feet, based on the drawings. If you decided to go to the township and say, you know what, we're gonna bring it in a little bit so we don't encroach it, and it's now 6.1.
Right.
You still have the variance. It's just if you were to go and say it's now 5.9, not 9.1, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm not misstating, okay, good.
Yeah, we can word, the order would have to be worded that way, so that's not, they don't have to build it exactly as per
Right.
plan. You're providing them a maximum
Maximum of 5.9.
variance of, and anything less is
Right.
fine.
That's what I want to avoid, that we approve it on what we've seen, and then they have a problem because they've changed it.
Now, the other benefit of continuing as well for the applicant, again, it's your decision,
Yeah.
what you want to do. Then you avoid having to refile another variance and the fees, et cetera.
Having to go through a mailing process again.
Right, right,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's the other benefit.
right.
I don't know how significant it is.
Do you want to just ask you to work with that in line? or-
My only question, have you talked to your neighbors? Are they in favor of this, against? Any neighbors? Did
The
you talk to them
chipmunks
about it?
and deer,
Especially the people that are going to be on the one side? No? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there are no, yeah, deer. There are no neighbors.
Okay, then, well, the
And
deer are
Francis
fine
Vale,
with it.
So, yeah,
Okay.
Pet Cemetery.
Well, no neighbors behind, but what about, oh, sorry, what about to the right and left?
Yeah, no concerns from the neighbors down. I mean, just to be clear, the neighbors are, they're down, those are the, really the only neighbors that.
Understood.
Okay.
Okay. Well, do you have any other photographs that you want to present as exhibits? Or unless you're going to ask for a continuance, then we move on, but.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, there,
Yep.
there were,
You want to? Yeah, I mean.
sorry, have we already entered the photos that were attached to the application as exhibits?
No, I think just the one that was shown in the
Okay.
rear yard.
Right, the one that you were referring to, I think we were going to refer to as A6.
A6, yeah.
So then the other three photographs that were attached to the application is what I guess the applicants are considering now.
No, I mean, I think the only other thing we looked at was just this, which just gives you a visual on
Right, but there was some other photographs in the application. Do you want to, why don't we present those? Well, let's just do that cumulatively then is, let's make all the photographs A6 just to make it easy. Yeah, but if you want to present those to us, so, I'll wait till you put it up.
This is a view from the back of the house looking up towards the driveway.
Yep.
So the addition is going to, bump out here, as we described, out to this window.
Mhm.
This is also a view of again, the driveway currently and the garage currently. And I think we just have one more, which is just another view of the driveway and kind of the space.
There was one more in the packet. Do you have this one? I see they're printed front and back. Is it possible it's, and the reason I have a question about this one.
Oh, here it is. Yep. got it.
Okay.
Yep.
So in the presentation about not going towards the front, you mentioned a window that you didn't want to cover. Is that the window that we see in this photograph? Okay.
So it's a total 4 photos, just for the record.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, I think we should just do that. Okay. So, I know I'm going to end up hearing about this later, but I think we're going to forego the continuance, and
Proceed.
depending upon what we need to do, we'll talk to our surveyor to make sure that we're not, they're not on a
Steep slopes.
steep
Okay.
slope.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
All right, so at this point, you would move your exhibits in?
Okay.
Do you move? Do you present, you
Just
move the
just ask that
exhibits?
they be admitted, your exhibits be admitted to the record.
Yes.
Without,
May our exhibits be admitted to the record, please?
without objection.
Thank you.
Uh,
Do you need these copies?
No.
Okay.
No, we have everything. Any questions from the board? Public comment? Nothing? Okay, I would entertain a motion then.
I'll make a motion to approve variance under section 280-15D1 in accordance with the plans with the setback not to exceed or not to be less than 5.93 feet as shown on the plans.
I'll second it. I think that's right. Where did you find the 5.93? Was that on the drawing? Maybe my eyes are bad.
Yeah, 5.93. This one?
Oh. It's outside of what I was looking at. I see it.
It's usually,
Yeah, okay. Okay. Any discussion? No? All right. John?
Yeah, just so I'm on the same page with everybody, the only variance is that relief.
yeah. I don't think
No
the-
other relief. the notice has the catch-all at the end, requesting such other relief consistent with the exhibits, but all we're doing is the setback,
Side yard.
side yard setback.
Yep.
That's great, thanks.
Vote?
Aye.
Aye?
I'm also in favor. Good luck with the project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
There was marking of exhibits. The marking of exhibits.
If you guys didn't debate everything. Appeal number 3166, the applicant Raymond Townsend, property located at 240 Hilldale Road and zoned R2 residential. The applicant seeks a variance from section 28020F of the code to remove existing steps and install 2 retaining walls to control erosion, raising the impervious surface percentage to 30.59%, which exceeds the maximum allowance by 0.59%. The applicant further seeks any other relief required by this application and exhibits attached here too. Mr. Townsend? How are you?
My full name is Raymond Townsend. So our goal is to put in a pair of walls made out of stone in our backyard on the slope, as I'll show you in just a second, to control erosion on this steep embankment and to allow for more manageable landscaping, and I'll show you pictures of what we're dealing with there. It'd be done by a terraced 2-tier wall. The first wall 10 foot from the pool, which you see there is that open spot in the pink. And the second wall 6 foot from that first wall, each of them 4 foot high. There's a set of steps there currently. They would be taken out and moved to the gray spot on the corner of the pool. Again, I'll point that out again. And what will happen here is that we will increase our total impervious surface by 161 square feet, 225 from the wall, but taking away 64 from removing the current steps and putting the new ones in. So here's the issue. I'll start with the pictures, actually, give you a better sense of what we're dealing with here. When we look at our backyard from this vantage point here,
Here, let's keep a record straight. So let's mark exhibits first. We can mark the application as A1.
okay?
I think I saw the deed in there.
Yes, it is.
We can make that A2. And then, since you started with the large plan, why don't we make that A3?
Sure.
And then if you want to go from there.
So I'll start with the large plan then, and then introduce the picture in just a second. These are the 2 walls here. They're about 20 inches wide. The upper one is 41 foot long, the lower one is 31 foot long. The setback is 10 from the pool edge to here, and then 6 from here. Each wall is 4 foot high. When you look at our house from this vantage point here, so we're looking up at the house because it goes uphill. This gives you a sense of what we're dealing with here in terms of the difficulty, both growing things on this, as well as just the erosion that's happening, it's wearing away. You can see it down here, these steps are over 25 years old, they're kind of rotted and need to come out anyway. So we figured by virtue of putting the terrace walls in, we could stop the erosion and clean up a little bit for the aesthetics in terms of the steps themselves. What we plan to use, this you do not have, because my wife thought it'd be a good idea to show you at least what the wall would look like. So if you wish, I'll call this A4.
A4, so we'll call the photographs A4. And then what's your A5? Do you have extra copies of those?
I have them on the thumb drive.
So present them now and then just make sure we get those.
Absolutely. But this shows you what this will look like. These are the York building stones that are used. And you get the idea that they're stacked up, it's level, they're stacked up, it's level. That's not our house, by the way. This is off a website. It just shows you what it would that it were. So that just gives you a sense of what the changes would look like.
And the erosion you're experiencing currently, is it that soil is simply washing away and washing down the hill, or what exactly is happening in terms of erosion? Because it seems there's some vegetation in these areas, perhaps not healthy vegetation, but vegetation of some sort.
Correct.
And that's ineffective to hold.
It is, and I have tried blue rock junipers, I've tried growing ivy, I took 3 years of transplanting pachysandra into this area, and I'm still losing it despite having done all that. And especially toward the side where actually some of the little stones you can see now are starting to pop through on the ground.
I asked the same question I asked before. Did you submit these plans to the township yet?
This packet for just the zoning board hearings, we were told to wait on the grading permit until we heard from the zoning board.
So similar problem you might have with the other, if these are steep slopes.
They are steep slopes, yeah.
Then, again, you need a variance for that, too.
Well, what is the 280-12 then?
Yeah, let me,
So I submitted for 280-112.d. Does that not cover that?
I see only a variance for 280-20F.
Oh, so when I talked to Ms. Cassidy, she told me about the steep slope request.
Yep.
I resubmitted the application with that page in it. That's what this is.
Is there another notice? Well,
Here, let me just,
well, so you have it in the application. You have it in the application?
Mhm.
Is it in the, all right, because I'm looking at the notice. That's always what we kind of look for. Now, you have the good catch-all there, which says applicant further seeks any other zoning relief requested by this application and exhibits.
I thought it had both. Let me have that.
It's the second page of the application.
yeah.
Sorry, Norma. Second page of the application, 28112D.
Okay.
Yes.
So we just reproduced it, okay.
Okay.
In addition, we're also requesting, okay, 20D. In your minds, have you ever owned a house in the period where the pool was not there?
No. The
So
pool
it's
was
always
there,
been-
we bought the house in 1993.
So those slopes were there?
Yes.
Okay. Because sometimes, again, you build up a slope in order to put the pool in, right? Because otherwise you have a slope in your backyard, and so if it's man-made, it's,
It looks like that to me, because it's just an oddity that there's this pool there, and
Right.
then the slope gets on the side of it.
Have you ever gone to do a Freedom of Information request to see if there are grading permits pulled on your property to build the pool?
I did not do that,
Okay.
no.
So that, again, for the future, that would be something, because if there was a permit pulled, granted, to put the pool in to create the steep slopes, you can do whatever you want at that point.
Got
'Cause
it.
That's an exception to the rule.
Understood.
Okay, so we're looking for two variances here. One is for the impervious, and the other one is for disturbance of the steep slopes. Got it.
Correct.
But you do not have the actual measurement of the what degree is the steep slope? I didn't think I saw that.
I don't know the angle that's in there. Is that what you're after?
Like the percent grade?
Because it's got the numbers right along here in terms of that, and I don't know if they can be used to calculate the angle or not. But just looking at it, I'm reasonably sure it's more than
Yeah, I don't-
20%.
I don't think the drawing shows the percentages.
Can you put up the other picture? The picture of what it looks like in the picture you got off the internet.
So the picture off the internet is just the block that we plan to use.
Yeah.
Not the actual building.
I'm actually looking to see what's happening, okay, that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see what's happening on each side of the retaining walls. So on each side of the retaining walls, you're just gonna have the steep slope again?
Correct.
Okay,
It's going to be there,
okay.
yeah.
I feel like we're facing a similar dilemma as the last application, because your plans will have to indicate the steep slopes.
When he files the permit.
When he files, right.
Yeah.
But if we grant a variance, I'm thinking out loud, if we grant on the plans as submitted tonight, does a revised set of plans that indicates the slope run contra to that?
No, not if you grant him the variance to allowing him to disturb the slopes in the exact location that he's showing on the plans, assuming these are detailed plans and that's what's proposed, I don't know. That may be the case. Then no, I mean, if you're granting him and allowing him to disturb it to the extent that these drawings are showing and exactly that, then I don't believe you'll have a problem if you grant it tonight under those terms.
I'm asking the question because I don't want to waste your time and effort. If we were to give you relief and then you come into the township and they say, well, these are different than what was approved.
I hear you.
That's my concern. Okay. Anything else that you wanted to present?
No, that's it, basically.
Okay. Do you want to move your exhibits into the record? Oh, sorry.
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have a question, hopefully just one. The plan indicates that the patio is to be rebuilt and expanded. Do you have, and presumably what's on the plan shows the to-be constructed patio as opposed to the existing condition? Is that right?
I'm not sure what you mean by patio.
I'm looking at the pink cross-hatched area around the pool.
That's already there.
Right. But it says pool patio to be rebuilt and expanded.
That's because these surveyor plans were from my grading permit from last year. To do the patio around the pool.
I'm sorry, okay.
So that's an existing structure. That pushed me up to almost 30%.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm sorry. That clears it up for me then. Thank you.
Okay?
Okay. So do you want to move your exhibits into the record?
Yes, please.
Okay, without
I would
exception.
formally like to move the exhibits into the record.
Thank you. Without exception. Okay.
Without exception.
Yeah. Any public comment?
Hopefully supportive.
Yeah.
Your leverage will never be higher.
appreciate because it's very unsightly the way it looks right now.
Understood. Okay. Any questions from the board? I feel like I'm going way out of order, but I don't think I have any questions. You want to do it? Go ahead, Steve.
It's my turn. Mr. Chairman, I would move that the board grant the relief requested from Section 280-20F and Section 280-112D in accordance with the plans presented and the testimony here at this evening's hearing.
So, John, can we just add in that the retaining walls as proposed would be built in the exact location as shown?
I have no problem with that addition.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
You want to second it?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
To me, I mean, obviously, we don't like going over impervious. I mean, this seems to be something, venture say, is close to being de minimis. Again, we need to have a variance, we need to have hardship. So the steep slope cutting, again, I know aesthetics, I get that.
Well, I might answer that.
Okay,
if that's
good.
okay.
Thank you. Thank
What
you.
I'm thinking, I think for me, what I heard was that the applicant has attempted to prevent erosion unsuccessfully with multiple means to try and tackle it, all without success. And to me, I think that would rise to the level of hardship. Because if there's no other way to prevent the erosion other than retaining walls at this point, then why would we as a board want to continue to let the backyard erode away?
I mean, if there's testimony in the record that it would make the pool unstable, you know, that's the cause of erosion here. Or if the pool was sinking because of it or something like that, to me, that certainly would be a consideration.
We are losing right up to the edge of this patio now. We have about this much of the grass. It's not the pool itself, but it's a couple steps away from it. So right along this segment here, we're looking at a patch about this wide before it starts to go down.
So in other words, you, I guess we need to get back on the record, right? Let's get back on the record. So I assume you've talked to people about this.
Well, we at least talked to the contractor that we spoke with about doing the wall.
Well, I get that, but when you're saying, okay, I have this erosion problem, it's creeping up to my pool, something is probably going to happen that's going to be bad. Did the contractor say, yep, I know, if we do this, it will be solved. If we don't do this, I think you're going to have a cracked pool deck, you know, or something like that. I mean, that would be something that's obviously compelling.
Okay. We didn't get that deep. He did promise that the way drainage and other things would be improved by doing this. The ability to manage it from a landscaping would be yards better than what we're dealing with now. But we didn't talk about a threat, for example, to the existing structures.
But your testimony is that because of the, you know, the configuration of the slope, that the soil is coming down from the top and moving down to the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's been happening over years. And
Over years, yes.
Okay. All right. I'm good.
John, anything?
No, Mr. Chairman.
So, okay. I don't need to say anything further. I think Brad hit it. To me, it's a de minimis request for the extra impervious coverage, and I'm convinced that there's a hardship.
Yep.
So why don't we take a vote? John?
Yes.
Brad?
In favor.
I too vote yes. So approved. Good luck with the project.
Thank you.
Okay. So we will see everybody at our meeting in November. We're adjourned.